Yes, good evening, everybody. Just setting up the things. Just give me 30 seconds and we are going to start. Grab your notes, pen and paper, and we will start in next 30 seconds. I'm just setting up certain things, okay? Yeah, notes are not mandatory to attend the examination, but notes will be handy to attend the examination because it's an open book test. So if you have the notes, then always better. Anytime better, okay? Just give me a second. Okay, here we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to day one of Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Hackathon. Let me explain you, first of all, what is hackathon. Okay. See, the process was like, on Sundays, you attend the live session of, of yellow belt and you upgrade yourself for the green belt and black belt. And then you start the studies. Okay. Because the first couple of weeks, the enthusiasm is at the peak. Then you attend the live session, etc. And then what happens is suddenly you get a project or you get something other priority. And then your certification examination takes the backseat. All right. That's what we have observed earlier. Of course, we have started this almost a year now, this hackathon part. Not year, at least 8 to 9 months. So what happened is when we observe this trend that people are taking admission but not completing their course and getting the certification examination done. So then we started this hackathon part where every month we connect on the first week. Um, and then we fast track the entire course content in the 3 days in the evening, okay, which is 7 to, generally it goes up to 10 o'clock, 9:30 to 10 o'clock, okay. So the objective is to fast track the entire course content, revise your studies, and then push you guys to the examination. Okay, so that is the main objective of this. And after we started this hackathon, the completion rates have gone up to 75%. Okay, so that is the best part of it. So for all the new members, if you are very new, you have just taken admission, a week ago or a couple of days ago, etc. Don't worry, you don't have to take tension about the examination as of now. You just go through this entire process. That will give you a lot of added advantage. All right. So we will connect on 3 days, today, tomorrow, and day after. All these 3 days will go through some major content of the green belt. I will not cover the simpler concepts which you already are aware, like for example, the project charter and all the other stuff. But I'll be covering more or less the important stuff of the green belt, which is very, very important. So is my voice loud and clear and is my screen visible? Just give me a yes in the chat box and let me start the session. All right. And this recording is being done. This recording will be available not in Masterclass Archive. Okay, our regular sessions, Saturdays and Mondays, recording is available in Masterclass Archive, but this recording is available in Green Belt Hackathon folder. Okay, so whenever you want to access the recording, please go to Green Belt Hackathon. Okay, there will be the date as well as the date as well as the topic, the day one, etc. will be written. You can access the recording. All right, chalo. So let's begin. See, when we say Lean Six Sigma, okay, a lot of people are very new in the system. So for them, Lean Six Sigma is combination of two very powerful tools. One is called Lean, other is called Six Sigma. Lean's coming from Toyota, Japan, which is basically removing the waste and increasing the speed of the process. And on the other side, there is Six Sigma, which is reducing the variation and improving the quality. So lean brings speed and Six Sigma brings accuracy, and they both together brings better delivery, better quality, better employee satisfaction, and better customer satisfaction. So whenever there is a question of whether to go for Six Sigma or only lean, so the answer is to go to the combination of these two great methodologies, I would say. Okay, so both methodologies are very powerful methodologies. So combination of Lean Six Sigma can be much better than implementing these tools separately. Okay, and there are 5 levels: white belt, yellow belt, green, black, and master black belt. Most of us have already crossed the yellow belt level, and we are at a green belt level. Okay, anybody in the room who has completed the green belt certification, just type me in the chat box. Let me understand. And of course, it is welcome to all. These sessions are welcome to all, because you know what? I always believe in learn, implement, and teach. Okay, just make a note of this. This is my philosophy, which I believe. Learn, implement, and teach. Meaning, if you want to acquire any skill faster, okay, first learn the skill, then implement it, and then teach it to other. Now, let's say, for example, if you're already a green belt certified, the content will remain more or less same, but the first time you attend, it's for the learning purpose, learning the concept. Second time, the same topic can be learned for the implementation purpose. Understand this. For the practical implementation, how can I practically implement it? And the third time, even if you attend this third time, it should be how the topic is taught, what examples are given, and same you can replicate to your team. Understand this. So even if you have attended it before and done it multiple times, so your level should be different. First, it should be learning, then should be implementation, third should be teaching. Everybody, please type LIT in the chat box. And this philosophy I follow everywhere. Please type LIT, write down in your notes. Okay, LIT. And believe me, I always say this during my training programs. Who during this training process, who learns the most, who learns the most is the trainer. The trainer learns the most, because when you teach the concept, your concept gets, firmed up. And when you are answering the queries, your knowledge, your depth has gone to the next level. Okay, so make sure that you also follow this methodology of learn, implement, and teach. Very, very powerful. Okay, super, super amazing. Thank you very much. Now, so this is green belt, of course. Yes, this is green belt, Lean Six Sigma green belt hackathon, which is in progress. So I'll be touching upon some of the topics of define phase, measure phase, analyze phase, etc. So today we will start with define phase and some part of measure phase. Tomorrow we will be focusing on Minitab, and some part of analysis phase. Yeah. So let's talk about strategic forces. Imagine your organization as this hexagon. Okay. Now, on your organization, there are always certain forces acting upon. Now, what do you mean by strategic forces? You can see the source of this slide is Michael Porter. Michael Porter is a strategist. He's a professor, and according to him, strategic forces meaning the forces which can change the strategy of the organization. It's called as strategic forces. Now, on our organization, there are always certain forces acting upon. For example, the first and the foremost force is customer. Customer requirement, market requirement always, will change your strategy. Okay, for example, if customer is asking for faster delivery, okay, so you have to change your processes, strategies to make sure that you deliver faster to the customer, to the market, so that you survive, you stay in the market, and you satisfy the requirement of the customer. So customer being the first and foremost strategic force. Okay. The second one is called as current competitor. Whatever strategies competitors are using, you have to counter them. Otherwise, you will not be able to. For example, the same example can be continued. For the pizza delivery, if competitor is giving 30 minutes or free pizza to the customer, to the market, you cannot say, no, I will not give, my pizza is the best pizza, I will not give in 30 minutes, I will give in 40 minutes or 45 minutes. Obviously, you will lose your market share. So current competitor also defines your strategy. Then the potential competitor, the competitors which are not there right now, but they can come in the near future. For example, let's say Elon Musk's Starlink, which is going to be a potential competitor for the telecom market in India, right? They have not yet arrived, but when they arrive, it will be a big competition for Vodafone and Airtel and Jio. All these people will have to change their strategy. Understand this? If they come with their new strategies, marketing plan, etc., obviously other people also. When Jio was launched, you know, what happened with the telecom market, right? So potential competitor also will play a huge role. Then government policies, we all know that, right? Any policy change like demonetization or GST implementation or some tax restructuring or plastic bans, whatever policies government change, then it impacts the strategy of the organization. So that is also a very important strategic force. Then comes the complementers. Complementer meaning the product or service which can complement with your product or service or your business rather. For example, let's say automotive segment and steel segment. When when automotive sale goes up, the steel sale also goes up automatically, right? Or real estate and cement industry. When real estate market goes up, the cement also goes up. Cement market also goes up. Or real estate or the lenders meaning the banks, NBFC, etc. So when the real estate market goes up, of course, the lenders also their business also, and vice versa. If any business goes down, it can have a negative impact on the other complementing business as well. So this is also, that's why the arrow has been shown both direction. These forces act upon each other. It's not one way, it's both ways. Okay. Then comes the substitute. Substitute are the products or services which can basically replace your substitute, meaning the replacement. Right? In cricket, we have that, no? If somebody gets injured, then the player gets substituted by someone else, right? Or in football, right? We get substitute, somebody gets injured during game, the person is substituted by so substitute meaning the replacement. So any product or service which can replace your product or service is called as substitute. Now all these forces basically keep on acting on the organization. Now let me ask you one question. How much time, okay, just answer this question very, very honestly. How much time do you give every day in your process, okay, in maintaining the process? Just listen to my question. Okay, so let me quickly touch upon this part. See, there is something called maintenance of this, and there is something called improvement. Let's try to understand this concept first. Okay, see, majority of us spend most of the times in maintaining the standard operating procedure, maintaining the status quo of the process, status quo of the processes, services, and products. Okay, so tell me how much time in percentage, okay, out of 100%, how much time do you give for maintaining the standard operating procedure, and how much time do you give for innovation, improvements? Type in the chat box, everybody. Like, for example, 50-50, for 50% of this, 50% of innovation, if you are doing it, okay? Some people will say, we are giving 90-10, 90% on maintaining the standard operating procedures and 10% on improvement and innovation. Okay, 80-20, 70-30, 90-10, 80-20. Okay, fantastic, super, amazing. So you can understand this. So you can understand this, that this is, so most of the time we spend on maintaining the status quo of the processes and not the other one. We don't give more time on improvement of quality, delivery, cost, and service. QCDS, if you remember the basic needs of the customer, QCDS, quality, cost, delivery, and service. The same thing is there. Okay. So that's where Lean Six Sigma comes into picture, where we focus on the improvement part. See, understand this. All these external forces want the organization to change their strategies, processes, operations, products, and services. They are demanding the change. Okay. If you do not change, then the organization will perish. There is a very famous quote from one of the global leader. The name of that global leader is Jack Welch. He is ex-CEO of GE, General Electric. Okay. According to him, if the rate of change of external forces, just try to understand this, the statement, what he made. The rate of change of external forces are, these are the strategic forces, external forces, okay? If the rate of change of external forces are greater than rate of change of internal forces. What is internal forces? See, internally also we are doing a lot of improvements, right? हम लोग भी इम्प्रूवमेंट करते रहते हैं, करेक्ट? छोटे छोटे मोटे काइजन प्रोजेक्ट, some kappa analysis, etc., right? Some improvements we are also doing. So, but rate of change of external forces, if that is greater than rate of change of internal forces, then it's a beginning of the death of the organization. I repeat again, just try to understand the gravity of the statement. The rate of change of external forces, which is what I have listed on the screen right now, if the rate of change is higher than the rate of change of internal forces, which are the small modifications we are doing internally, improvements, changes, etc. If that is less and external forces are more dominant, then the death is near. Are you clear? That's why Lean Six Sigma is always asking for improvement, innovation, on this QCDS. Are you clear with this slide? Just give me yes in the chat box. Super clear. This this content is from your Green Belt course curriculum only. Okay. So I'm not taking something different, something extra. Super. So I'm not going in each and every slide by slide, but I'm touching upon some of the important topics. For example, the project selection topic. Okay. So there are multiple sources of project selection. Now, let me ask you one question. In the white belt to master black belt, who is accountable to identify the projects? Type in chat box according to you. Who is accountable to identify the projects? Yeah, who is accountable? किसका काम है? Is it white belt? Is it yellow belt? Is it green belt? Is it black belt? Is it master black belt? Whose accountability is that? Okay, champion, black belt, green belt. Type in chat box, green belt. Okay. Write down. The right answer is the accountability lies with master black belt. Remember this, okay? It is the job of master black belt to identify projects for your organization. Then it is given, okay, very complex projects are given to the black belts and medium complex projects are given to the green belts and smaller projects are given to the yellow belts. Always remember, along with the top management people. Okay. If the master black belt is not available, so I will write consultant oblique master black belt. Okay. Consultant like us, for example, if we are hired external consultant, so we also help the organization to identify the projects, the critical projects. Now, so in the master black belt segment, in the master black belt course content, we have given this in great details. So master black belt plus top manager. If master black belt is not available, then that role can be done by the black belt as well. Okay, remember this. So MBB and top management identify the product. If MBB is not there in the organization, then black belt can be the resource who can do that. Okay. Now, what are the sources basically which we use to identify? The first one is called strategy. We have just seen the strategic forces, right? See, strategy meaning the path to achieve your your mission basically, right? So uh, the strategies are built with the help of some strategic tools are there. Top management basically decide what will be the strategy, and wherever they find the gaps, okay, that gap can be filled up with the help of what you can say Lean Six Sigma projects. Okay, for example, the same example of the pizza we can take. So if the competitor, the strategy is to compete with the competitor who is delivering the pizza in 30 days, sorry, 30 minutes. So you have to find out where are the bottleneck processes, which is taking, where are the more cycle time processes where we are getting stuck. So these kinds of projects can be basically brought just to reduce the overall delivery time below 30 minutes. Okay. Then comes the SWOT analysis. SWOT is strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats, right? So now strength and weaknesses are, yes, quickly, huh? So strength and weaknesses are internal um, uh, indicators, and opportunities and threats are external indicators. External meaning outside of the organization. Okay. And strength and the weakness are inside of the organization indicators. Now, both these analysis, again, it's a top level analysis, which can identify the gaps in the organization. And from there, you can identify the projects. Okay. See, you are not, as a green belt, you are not accountable for this, but just for your information, this has been given. Then low performing key performance indicator, KPI meaning key performance indicators. Okay. Now, what is key performance indicator? The indicator which is defining the performance of the process. Okay. Example, the production number is a key performance indicator. Your average call handling time of a BPO is a key performance indicator. Your attrition percentage is a key performance indicator. Are you understanding? Can you type one KPI of your process, one most critical KPI which you monitor? Type in the chat box. Let me connect. Let me see whether you are connecting with this. Quality. Very good. Yes. Compliance. QDC, login hours, timely login hours, sales target, very important. Time taken to meet the quality. Okay, so the time is, SLA percentage, customer feedback, production targets, very good. So all these are key performance, and whichever key KPI, now we have multiple KPIs. So whichever KPIs are not performing, that is your project. That is your potential project. Understand this? Okay. Then customer complaints. Frequent customer complaint is also a very good source of this. Cost reduction. Now, cost reduction is something which is, it is close to the heart of the management. Okay. So if you take any cost reduction initiative as a project in your company, you will become the blue-eyed boy or a blue-eyed girl in front of the management, because cost is what they want to reduce, right? Because to enhance the profits, right? So whichever project which can reduce the cost of poor quality or whatever ways you want to reduce the cost, those kinds of projects are always supported by the management. Okay. And then quality issues, internal quality issues, external quality issues. Okay. All these things can also be a very good source of the project selection. Okay. Of course, we are just briefly touching upon this topic because these topics are deeply explained in the master black belt level. Okay. Super. When we select the project should be meaningful and manageable. Understand this. What do you mean by meaningful? Meaningful meaning it should be meaningful to the customer. It should be meaningful to the business. It should either be meaningful to the customer or it should be meaningful to the business. For example, uh, let's say customer complaints is very, very important. Frequently, some customer is complaining about it. So addressing that customer complaint and eliminating the root causes of it is meaningful for the customer. Okay. And for business, for example, attrition, people resigning, people leaving the organization, it's a business issue. It's meaningful for the business to solve. It's not, it has got nothing to do with the customer. So it is meaningful to the business. Okay, your cost, meaningful to the business. Your breakdowns of the machines, it's meaningful for the business, right? So either it should be meaningful to the customer or it should be meaningful to the business. Remember this. The next one is it should be manageable. So what is manageable? It should be within the control of the organization. What should be within the control? The root causes. The root causes should be within the control of the organization. Then it becomes the manageable thing. Okay. And it should not be too big or shouldn't be too small. Because too big meaning, we always call it the World Hunger Project. Puri dunya ki bhukmari mita dunga. It is a World Hunger Project, right? So it should not be too big to handle and it should not be too small. Okay, a very small improvement, a small Kaizen or small Pokai. Okay, those are not the Lean Six Sigma projects. Okay. So you should always have the balance of this. Okay. So meaningful, manageable, and shouldn't be too big to shouldn't be too small. Okay. So these are some of the indicators you should focus upon while selecting. Now, a couple of graphs, just have a look at it. When it comes to importance and urgency. So on this, it is importance, how important is the project, and this urgency. Okay, how urgent is the project? Now, whenever you have to select a project, less important shouldn't be selected. So less important or not important shouldn't be selected. The areas, the topics which are not important either for the customer or for the business shouldn't be selected. And now understand, this is the most important part. Lot of management people would like you to take very urgent projects. What do you mean by urgent projects? Urgent projects meaning customer is already standing on the door. Those are called urgent projects. Already there is a fire and you are doing a firefighting role. Those kinds of urgent projects should be avoided. You should take moderately urgent projects. See, there is a spectrum of super urgent and not urgent. So I would suggest you should take moderately urgent because I'll tell you the reason for this. See, Lean Six Sigma, green belt, black belt, yellow belt people, you people are part-time Lean Six Sigma certified people or practitioners, I would say. What do I mean by part-time? Part-time meaning what? See, along with your routine activities, you are working on the projects. Understand this. Okay. That is the reason Lean Six Sigma project can take from 2 to 3 months to up to 6 months. It depends on the size and the complexity of the project and the level of the project, right? So it takes time. The meaning is that it takes time. So if you take super urgent project that management says, no, you have to deliver the result in 7 days, those projects should be avoided because then you can compromise on the quality of the project. You have to find out the causes, root causes, the validation of the root causes, identifying the solution, effective implementation of the solution. It takes data collection. It takes a lot of time, patience. Okay. So it should be moderately urgent. Project should be selected. Okay. You can ask the questions whenever you feel like more clarity. Okay. See, these are just concepts. Now, what is important, what is not important, what is urgent, what is not urgent, these are all subjective topics, and it has given on the person's discretion to decide what is urgent for them. So we cannot define for that company, for that industry, what is urgent at that point in time. So it is very much subjective. So, but the concept is don't take too urgent project. Okay, take moderately urgent project. Then the next similar kind of thing is that difficulty and importance. This is also very thing. So importance is on the y-axis, the same like the last one. On the x-axis, instead of urgency, it is difficulty. Okay. Now, when I say difficulty, what do I mean by that? The complexity of the project. Complexity meaning how how chronic is the problem, how many functions are involved, okay, how technically difficult is the project, all right, or how much resources are required as far as maybe investment or time, etc. So considering all these aspects, I'm defining the difficulty level. Again, here also I would select moderately difficult project should be selected for Lean Six Sigma. All right, these are again some conceptual understanding for the project selection part of it. Okay, now let's talk about some part of Lean Six Sigma vocabulary, okay, which we generally consider or speak multiple times. All right, the first one is called as voice of customer. Now, what is voice of customer? Voice of customer is the data which shows the information or the feedback or the requirement of the customer. It's called voice of customer. Now, can you just give me one or two example of from where can we collect the voice of customer? Type in chat box, everybody. And just type in chat box quickly. All right, so surveys, complaints, feedback, NPS, service centers, emails. Very good, very good. Super, super. So all these, even the simplest one is when we go to a restaurant. Okay, when we go to a restaurant, um, then at the exit, we can see a small register being kept, right? And they ask you to give the rating for the food, for hospitality, for the hygiene, for overall, ambience, all these things. You can just give the rating, right? Now, the simplest one is is when we take Ola or Uber ride, right? Once the ride is over, when the ride gets completed, we have to give the rating to the driver. Yes, everybody, what is that? That is voice of the customer. Yes or no? Correct? Yes, everybody must have seen that, correct? So you give the rating 4 or 4.5 or 4.9, whatever it is, right? Out of 5 star, you have to give the star. So accordingly, and then when you book the cab, then you get that rating as well. What is the rating given by the previous customers to the driver? That also can be seen. A lot of people don't know this, that after you get down from the cab, uh, you also are rated. How many of you are aware of this? You also are rated. How good customer you were. Were you hospitable? Were you how good customer were you? Were you arrogant during the commute? Okay, so everything gets, and a lot of people are even not aware about this, that your rating company has. And for example, let's take Dhiresh is booking a cab. Let's say I came on international airport, and now I'm booking the cab to reach to my residence. Okay, and there is a person X who is standing beside me. My rating is 4.9 and his rating is 4.2. Okay, so I will get the cab faster than him. I will get better rates than him. Okay, so this is the magic of voice of customer. Understand this, right? So we can collect the data, we can analyze the data, we can put the algorithm such that it serves the better customers in a better way. Anyways, coming to critical to quality. Okay, voice of customer is simple. So let me give you example of this. If somebody is not happy, okay, so he will say that, I'm not happy with your restaurant. Happy with, let's say, your let's say hotel, for example. Okay. Now, so when it comes to restaurant, okay, what are the parameters which can make the customer unhappy? Type in chat box. Let's give me one parameter each. Which parameter can make customer unhappy? Ambience. Very good point. What else? What else? Let's talk about restaurant. Yes, taste of the food. Very important. Taste of the food, ambience, the service delivery time. Very important. Quick services. Correct. Correct. Hygiene. Yeah, absolutely yes. Politeness of the employees. Very good. Super. Super. So let's say test. Okay. Hygiene and let's say delivery time, for example, TAT. TAT is turnaround time. Okay, the time taken to turn around the order into delivery is called turnaround time. Let's talk about these three. Okay. Now, are they measurable? For example, can we measure the delivery time? Type yes or no in the chat box. Delivery time can be measured, yes or no? Everybody? Yes, it's a simple, it's a time, so we can definitely measure it. Can we measure hygiene? Can we measure hygiene? Yes, no. Or rather, I would say test as well. Can we measure test? टेस्ट को मेजर कर सकते हैं, हाइजीन को मेजर कर सकते हैं. Some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. Very good. So whenever there is a subjectivity, okay, can we have a rating system for that, like just what we have seen in the Ola and Uber example, correct? Can we have the rating? How good was your experience? Now, everybody's experience can be different, right? Yes. So we can give the rating, but the important part is that we have to measure these aspects, and these aspects are called as critical to quality. The measurable aspects of voice of customer are called as critical to quality aspects. These are measurable aspects. So if the customer is unhappy, it would be because of some of these critical to quality attributes. Either it would be because of the test or hygiene or delivery time or something else. And that is called critical to quality. Are you clear? Yes? Then it comes to voice of design or specification. You know what? These both are the same things. Both are the same things. For example, customer says, I want the hot and refreshing cup of tea. Hot and refreshing cup of tea. So that is called the voice of customer that needs to be converted into specification limits. So it would be converted, let's say 60 degree, I'm just giving you example, to 80 degrees centigrade. Okay. So hot and refreshing cup of tea meaning deliver the tea within 60 to 80 degree, and this is called as specification limits. Okay. Then there is a target. So then let's say target is 70 degrees centigrade. Why do we give specification limit? Because we cannot hit the target all the time because of the natural variation of the process. That's why we give specification limit. So we can, we can accept the product or services within this specification limit. Can you just put in the chat box, give your one example where you have a specification limit set, target and specification limit set. Type in the chat box. Everybody, just type in the chat box quickly. Yeah, put that numbers, put that number, that will be better. Put the numbers. Yeah, pasteurization temperature. So what is that target and upper and lower specification limit? Plus and minus how much degree? That 24 hours. Okay. So you have, see, some specification limits are unilateral specification limit. What do you mean by unilateral? Only one way. For example, if I give my child a target of 90% or above, so the lower specification limit only, I don't have any upper specification. He can score anything above 90%. So there is no upper specification, only lower specification. So it is called unidirectional specification. Okay. Very good, very good. 90 with plus and 2 degrees centigrade. Very good. So 88 and 92. Very nice. Super. So clear? So this is called target and specification limit. Specification limit is also called as voice of design. Okay. Then the defect, anything which falls beyond the specification. For example, if the cup of tea is given below 60 degree, it will be too cold. If it is given above 80 degree, it will be too hot. And in both these cases, it is called as a defect. Okay. And there are multiple defects, and those are called defect opportunities. Okay. For example, the same example we can take the cup of tea. So for cup of tea, the defect could be the temperature is not proper, could be one defect. The test is not proper, could be another defect. The delivery time was, let's say 5 minutes is the delivery time SLA. Then if you have delivered after 5 minutes, is it defect? So how many defect opportunities are there in your product or service? Those are called defect opportunities. Are you clear? So in one product, in one unit, there could be multiple defect opportunities. Okay. Then comes voice of process. Voice of process is nothing but data. Data collected from the process is called voice of process. And project Y is the project which we have identified from this entire journey. For example, let's take the same example. I'm not happy with your restaurant is the voice of customer. Then we have identified multiple critical to quality attributes. Then we collect the data of each and every CTQ. Let's say test is averaging around 6 out of 10 at this point in time, for example. Okay, so we have collected the data and test is 6 average rating out of 10. So the project Y is improving test from, I'm just giving you a very raw example, 6 out of 10 to 9 out of 10 by December 2025 is my project Y. Y is the output. Always remember this. You must be aware of Y is equal to function of X, right? So Y is the output and X is the input, right? So this is called project Y. So in this case, the test is our Y. So from 6 out of 10 to 9 out of 10 is our project Y. And these are called some of the vocabularies which we use generally in Six Sigma. Clear? Everybody's clear about all this vocabulary stuff? Very simple. Just confirm, just give me yes in the chat quickly. Super. Amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Defect opportunities, I said, now in one product, there could be multiple defects, right? As I said in the cup of tea, there could be the temperature defect. It would be too hot or too cold. The delivery time defect, it is delivered late. That is a defect opportunity. Or the test could be very low, maybe below 8 or below 7, whatever it is. That is a defect opportunity. So in one product, there could be multiple defect opportunities. Okay. When we learn tomorrow, when we will learn DPMO, defect per million opportunity, there we will understand this even in a greater sense. Okay. DPMO में. Super. So ये सब explain किया हुआ है आपके इसमें. Now let's talk about what is the difference between defect and defect opportunity? Okay. Defect is what actually comes and opportunities are the potential. All right. For example, let's take the same cup of tea. In the cup of tea, there are, let's say, three potential defect opportunity. One is of the test, one is about the temperature, one is the delivery time. Just take a simple example. Out of these three defect opportunities, even one comes that is called as a defect. Okay, so defect is what actually is arrived, what actually can be seen on the product is a defect, and opportunity is a potential. Clear? And project Y is the project which is identified from the voice of customer. Why is the output? Like, I am not happy with the restaurant service is the voice of customer. From there, we collected the data of hygiene, tests, etc. We found that the average test is very low. So we take up a project to improve the test, a Six Sigma project to improve the test, and that is our project one. Clear? Ashwani ji, are you clear about project Y? Very good, very good. Super. Keep asking the questions and I will definitely answer this. Okay. Now, when we collect the voice of customer, there's a very important model which we need to understand. It's called as Kano model. Kano model is named after Dr. Noriaki Kano. Okay. Dr. Noriaki Kano, Professor Dr. Noriaki Kano from Japan. According to him, when we collect the voice of customer, there are three basic groups you can make. Okay. When we collect voice of customer, let's say, let's just take same example of a hotel. Now, hotel where there is a restaurant, there are rooms to stay, etc. Okay. Like a 5-star or a 7-star hotel. So when we collect the voice of customer, there could be three types of groups you can do. One is called the basic requirement, then performance, and the delighter requirement. Let me explain you one by one. Okay. What is basic requirement? Basic requirement meaning for a restaurant, the taste, the hygiene, the turnaround time, these are the basic requirements. Okay. Let's take another example. Imagine this is the marker. This is the marker pen. Okay, our, let's say, whiteboard marker. Imagine that. Now, what is the basic, or a pen, simple pen? What is the basic requirement out of this product? Type in chat box. Imagine it's a simple pen or a marker, whiteboard marker. What is the basic requirement from this product? Type in chat box. Very basic. It should write, correct? Very basic requirement. It should serve the basic purpose. It should write. Are you understanding? What is the basic requirement of a tube light? It should illuminate. It should provide the lighting. Correct? Basic requirement. So, similarly, when you collect the voice of customer, taste is a basic requirement. Huh? It is not extraordinary requirement. Yes or no? Taste is a basic requirement. Correct? So, you can identify the basic requirements from the voice of customer. Then second is called performance requirement. Let's extend the same example of the pen. The basic requirement of the pen is to write. Okay. Now imagine this pen or the marker is writing for, let's say, one month. Okay. If you can last it for 1 month. You can write continuously. It would last for 1 month. Okay. If by doing some improvement in the process, we have increased the lifespan of this to 2 months. That is called performance feature. Understand this? Okay. So from 1 month lifespan, it has improved to 1.5 months or 2 months. That is called improvement in the performance of the product. Okay. Another example. Yeah, anything. You can refill or replace, whatever. But earlier it used to last for 1 month. Now, because of some improvement, now it is lasting for 2 months. That is a performance improvement. Understand this? It is writing already. So the basic feature is already there. Now you are improving the performance as well. Are you understanding this? Okay. Another example I'll give. For your car or a two-wheeler, let's say your car was giving 20 kilometers per liter mileage. 20 kilometers per liter. With some modification done by the company, now the car is started given 25 kilometers per liter. It's a performance improvement. Clear? And the third feature is called the delighter feature. Delighter feature is a feature which is not present in the product or service, but if it can be provided, it can delight the customer. It would give a aha moment to the customer. Okay, wow, it's an aha moment. Okay. Pen example performances, yes. So if it was writing a little what you can say rough earlier, then writing smoother is a performance feature, right? So basic writing is a basic feature. Earlier, maybe it was writing a little rough. It was writing, but it was writing rough. Then writing rough to smooth is a performance feature. Okay, clear? Now, what could be the delighter feature for the pen? A delighter feature could be maybe some amazing, yeah, aroma to the ink. Yes, aroma to the ink. Whenever you are writing, it would smell great. Okay, it will give a amazing fragrance. Then maybe you can have a what eraser along with the pen. You have got eraser, you can erase it as well, or you have a digital clock inside the pen. Okay, it would be a different, you can have a small alarm digital clock. You can set an alarm and it will beep in the morning for you. So it's called delighter feature. Now what Kano says, whenever you collect the voice of customer and whenever you want to prioritize your improvement, understand this, huh? Or you are selecting the projects, okay? Make sure first you give priority to your basic feature. If the basic features are absent, if the basic features are not functioning properly, your improvement priority should be on the basic feature, then the performance feature. Once the basic features are already taken care of, then you move to the performance feature. Do not take performance feature or delighter feature when your basic features are absent or they are not functioning well. And this is the model of Kano. Very simple, but yet powerful way of communicating the priority of selecting the project. Are you clear? So when you have voice of customer, put in these three buckets: basic, performance, and delighter. If there is a gap in the basic feature, that should be your project priority number one. If there is nothing in the basic feature, then you should focus on the performance, how you can do it better. Okay. And then the delighter should be the last option for you. Clear, everybody? Just give me yes in the chat box. This is called the priority set by the Kano model. Clear? Just give me yes. Very simple, but very powerful. Lot of people make the mistake of focusing on delighter feature when their basic features are not functioning. That should be avoided. Okay. Super, super, amazing, amazing, amazing. Chalo, so this is all explained with the examples, etc. You can just go through that. Okay. So let me just jump to the internal project selection part of it. Okay. Now, from voice of customer, from the customer requirements, you can select the project. It's called external way of selecting the project from voice of customer. Okay, customer से हम लोग select करें ना project को. Okay, it's called voice of customer से. It's external way. There is an internal way of selection of the project as well. Okay, in this, what we do is first we map the processes like process 1, process 2, process 3, process 4, etc. And then we find out the yield. Now just try to understand, the yield in a very basic aspects. Okay, there are various ways you can do it, but just let me give you a very simple aspect of it. Anybody can understand. Okay, now let's say there are 5 process steps: surface preparation, pre-coating, lead coating, primer, and the paint. Okay, let's say this is the way the process moves. So first is go for the surface preparation, then it goes for the pre-coating and then lead coating and the primer, etc. Okay, now for the surface preparation, the yield is 0.97, or in other words, 97%. What does it mean? It means, let's say, if I put 100 pieces in this surface preparation process, I will get 97 pieces without any defect. We also called it as first time right, FTR. Everybody type FTR in the chat box. FTR. FTR stands for first time right, without any rejection, without any rework. It's called first time right. And how much percentage comes first time right? It's called as yield. Clear? For a call center, a person is receiving 100 calls in a shift. I'm just giving you a very raw example, out of which 90 calls in the first call, the resolution is happening. So the yield for that person is 90%. It is called as first time right resolution. Clear? So it is applicable for manufacturing, service, all the industries. All right. So what they have done is they have identified for every process, they have identified the yield. For example, pre-coating, the yield is 94%. The lead coating, the yield is 93%. Primer, again, the yield is 93%. Okay. And for the painting, they have the lowest yield, which is 60%. So in this entire thing, if I multiply this yield percentage, which is 97% into 94 into 93 into 93 into 60, I will get 47% at the end of it. You can see here. Okay. And this is called as the total yield. Total first pass yield is 47%. That means if I put 100 pieces, only 47 will come out first time right without any rework or rejection. Okay, let's keep it aside. Which process is the lowest yield process? Type in the chat box. Out of these 5 process steps, which process is the lowest yield process? Yes, it's a P5, which is the painting process. Okay, which is having a 60%. That means 100 pieces go in, only 60 will come out first time right. So what we will do, we will collect the data of the rejection of those, and then we'll do a 80-20 Pareto analysis of it. So tomorrow we are going to do a Pareto analysis on Minitab. Okay, how, with the help of data, we are going to do Pareto analysis. So we all know that, right? Pareto analysis. So once we identify the lowest yield process, we collect the data of what are the different types of defects, and we do the Pareto, and then we will select the top 3 or 4 categories, and those will be our projects. Okay, so every defect will be a project. This way we can identify our internal product. You want me to go to the last slide, is it? Just a second. This one. Yes, are you clear with this internal way of project selection? So you lay down the processes, identify the yield, select the lowest yield process, collect the data, do the Pareto analysis of it, and select the top 3 or 4 types of defects, and those are your potential projects. Just type yes in the chat box if you have understood this. So external way is through voice of the customer, and internal way is this way. Yeah, Pareto is 80-20 principle. If you remember, during our yellow belt also, we have learned about 80-20 Pareto analysis. Correct? Tomorrow, we will have a Minitab session on this. We will do the Pareto analysis as well. Okay. Clear, everybody? Just give me quick confirmation. Super, super. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. So let me touch upon a topic called a SIPOC. Okay. SIPOC. So everybody knows input, process, output. Just type yes in the chat box if you know this. Used in manufacturing. No, internal can be done in service industries as well. It does not matter manufacturing only. Yeah. So input, process, output. Everybody knows this is the way input goes in the process and output comes out, right? Now, input comes from a supplier. There is some supplier of the input, and output goes to the customer. Just quickly. Okay. And this entire process is called as SIPOC, SIPOC. So SIPOC is a broad level process map of the project. Once you identify the project, then we do a SIPOC analysis of it. Okay. Now let's take a very simple, very easy process of making the cup of tea. All right. So let me write down 3-4 steps of making the cup of tea. First, I will take boil the water. Okay. I'll just very briefly just to explain this concept. Okay. Then I would add all the ingredients, including tea powder, milk, and all those masalas and ginger and all those stuff, sugar. So add ingredients, right? And then what we'll do, we'll filter and serve. So I've just made it very simple 3-step process. First, we'll boil the water, add the ingredients, and then we will filter that and serve, right? Now, boiling the water, what are the inputs required to boil the water? Type in the chat box, everybody. Let's do it for 1 or 2 steps. What are the inputs required to boil the water? For the process of boiling the water, what are the inputs required? Type in the chat box. Yeah, gas stove, very good. Utensil, super. So it is gas, then the utensil. Yeah, see, sugar, etc. will be the ingredients में आएगा ना. Water, water आएगा. Yes, water will be very important stuff. Sugar वगैरह ingredients में आएगा. अभी right now only we are boiling the water, right? Very good. And then the lighter also will come. Okay. Then for every input, there will be supplier. For example, gas. For example, in Mumbai, we have Mahanagar Gas. So Mahanagar Gas will become the input provider, which is supplier. Okay. So I would write Mahanagar Gas. I'm just giving you example. Okay. Then there would be water from municipal corporation or from a society or whatever. That will be the supplier. Then any vendor who is providing the input is becoming the supplier. Then the output of this is water boiled. Okay. Imagine you are a, let's say, tea stall vendor. आपका पास एक चाय का होटल है या फिर चाय की टपरी है. All right. So you are the internal customer. So who is the immediate customer of step number 1? You are the one. Okay, the tea vendor. All right. The tea stall vendor, I would say. Tea stall vendor, which is you. Now, add ingredients. Now, in this ingredients, all the ingredients will come, right? Like, for example, tea powder, then sugar, then milk, then all the gingers, etc. Correct? And all the respective vendors will be the suppliers. The output would be ingredients added. I'm just very briefly explaining you this concept. Again, the tea stall vendor will be the same customer. Then filter and serve, which is, so you should have that strainer, okay, or filter you can say, and cup of tea, correct? The cup. Again, respective vendors would be the suppliers. So the output would be the hot and refreshing cup of tea, hot cup of tea served, right? And that will go to the final customer who will pay us for this chai, correct? So this is called as SIPOC. Now, in this SIPOC, what we get is, the best part of SIPOC is we get, all the inputs. You remember y is equal to function of x, I mentioned. So all the inputs we can see in this column called inputs. Okay. We get the boundary of our project in this process. In this column of process, we get the focus area, the in scope, which is from boiling the water to serving the tea. This is the area we should focus to improve the taste of tea. Okay. In the first column and the last column, this one, I'm talking about this column and this column. Okay. These are the two columns where we get supplier and the customer. They are nothing but the stakeholder of the project. What do I mean by stakeholder? Stakeholder are the people, processes, or the departments, etc., who are impacting or getting impacted because of the project. Okay, so these are called stakeholders. So we should have the representation from them in the project. Okay, so SIPOC is a broad level process map which shows the boundary of the project, which shows the inputs of the project, which shows the stakeholder of the project. Are you clear? Just give me yes in the chat box. If this is done very, very rigorously, religiously, it would be very handy in the project steps going ahead. Okay, very, very powerful tool, SIPOC. Super. Very good, very good. Super. Okay, let me. So let me touch upon. So project charter, everybody's aware of this. We have already covered in the yellow belt as well. Business case, problem statement, goal statement, etc. Everybody's aware. Just give me yes in the chat box. Very good, very good. Super. Okay, that's what I will not take much of the time. I will spend more time on topics like this. Okay, let's touch upon these couple of topics. Then we will take a quick break of 10 minutes. All right, before we move ahead. Stakeholder analysis. Now, for example, have you experienced this human behavior scenario? Okay, where imagine there is a opening ceremony of something, a project is being opened, or some new work is being started, where top management people are there, your MD and CEO, all are there, and people are charged up, they are motivated, enthusiastic, and they are supporting everything. And as the day passes, as the time passes, the enthusiasm dries down. For example, you are the project leader. You are opening the project. For the opening ceremony, you have called up the CEO of the company, and in front of the CEO, everybody is on the top of their voice shouting that, yes, we are going to support this project, and we will solve this problem, and blah, blah, blah. But as the time progresses, you see the enthusiasm shown during the meeting dries down. You call them up for the meeting, nobody turns up. You ask them for the data, they will never give you the data. You call them for the discussion, for the causes, root causes, solution, etc., they will never come up. You give them some work, you give them some implementation work, but they will never support you. So have you experienced these kinds of behavior in your current or some previous organization? Just give me yes in the chat box. Just give me yes. And it's a very common pattern across. It's a human behavior. Yes or no? Now, how do you identify the engagement of the people? How a cricket captain would identify how much a person is engaged in the work? Understand this. Sometimes it is very difficult, isn't it? So this tool I have found to be an amazing tool to put that on the paper visually, and it is called stakeholder analysis. This is for identifying stakeholder, meaning again, in the SIPOC column, the supplier and the customer column, whatever is written, they are all stakeholders. They are impacting or getting impacted because of the project. Okay. So we should have the representation. For example, this is here, sales, management, employees, customers, supplier. These are stakeholders. So they have identified them as a project team members. Okay. At least one representative of it. Then there are commitment levels. Now, these are just representation of it. You can just change according to your requirement. You can make it simpler as well. Like supporter, compliant, indifferent, uncooperative, opposing, and hostile. These are, as you go down, they are becoming, they're not supporting kind of thing. Okay. So you want all of them to be supporter or at least compliant. Compliant meaning at least whatever you are telling them, they should comply with that. Okay. So let's talk about example. Let's say sales department. Okay. In this case, now they have given R and P. Just try to understand what is R and P. P stands for present level of commitment. Let's say in the define phase, where are they standing? So in this case, particularly, they are at the opposing level. And R meaning required. What is the required level of commitment? At least they should be complying to whatever we are telling them to do. Are you understanding? Okay. Now, what could be the reason for the oppose? They could have a very genuine reason. For example, maybe in sales department last 3 years, there was no increment. A lot of people are leaving the organization, but there is no recruitment happening. So whatever limited team members, they are already overburdened. And over and above, you have added a project on them. Obviously, they are going to oppose, right? So you should understand why they are not supporting the project. What is the reason behind it? And because this is so subjective, people behavior, people say something, but it does not turn into the action. So it is very difficult. It's a gray area. It's not black and white. Correct? They might be giving you the commitment, but they are not fulfilling the commitment. Understand this? So stakeholder analysis basically to be done on the basis of their action and not their verbal commitment. उनके बोलने के ऊपर हमें नहीं ये करना है, उनके एक्शंस के ऊपर करना है. When you are calling for a meeting, project meeting, are they turning up? Are they coming on time? Whenever you are asking for the data, are they submitting the data? Are they collecting the data? Whenever you are asking them to collect the causes, identify the causes, are they doing it? So all these things will tell whether these stakeholders are engaged or not. Look at this. Second one is management. Supporter, P and R together, meaning present level is also supporting and required level is also supporting. So P and R together. Okay. Employees of that particular process, their present level is uncooperative, but the required level is compliant. Okay. So this way you can do it for all the stakeholders just to check whether all are aligned to the goal of the project, so that our project can very smoothly move without any obstacles. Clear, everybody? Stakeholder analysis, just give me yes in the chat box. Clear? Yeah, present level meaning where they, let's say this is a defined phase, right? So are they basically supporting the project at this level, at this present level? What is the current? Because see, the project runs for 3 to 4 months. Okay, their level of commitment also can change. They can go from negative to positive or positive to negative, depends on the circumstances, right? So what is their present level of commitment? You can gauge it through this. That is called P for present. In the scale of supporter to hostile, where are they currently standing? That is what you can judge on the basis of their action and not the verbal commitment. That's the difference. Okay. Now, there is something called RACI metrics. Now, RACI stands for, just for your understanding, R for responsible, just for your, write this down. R for responsible. A for accountable. First, write this down. C for consulted. And I for informed. So once the stakeholders are identified, some of them are accountable, some of them are responsible, some of them are consulted, some of them are informed. Let me give you one more example. Okay. Let's say somebody who is working on the machine, for example. Okay. So I am the machine operator. So machine operator is responsible for the production and the quality of that. That is called our responsibility. Whereas the accountability of the same, the production and the quality, is the accountability lies with the supervisor or the manager. So responsible is the doer, but who is accountable? The higher up, who is supervisor or the manager, who is accountable for this. Are you understanding? Yes. Responsible and accountable. Another example. Batsmen are responsible to make runs. Bowlers are responsible to take the wickets. But the victory, the overall victory, is accountability of the captain and the coach. Are you clear the difference between responsibility and accountability? Just give me yes in the chat box. So somebody would be responsible, somebody would be accountable for the same activity. Clear hai? Responsibility and accountability. Accountability is for the higher up. The people who are on the top, they are accountable. Clear? Yes. The team members are responsible. For the team project leader is accountable. Okay, understood? Then what is consulted and informed? Let me give you a scenario. There is somebody who is master black belt, and there is somebody who is, let's say, champion. Who is champion? Champion is person from the top management. Okay, he is a top management person. Top management. Okay, champion. Now, let me give you a scenario. You are doing a project and you are doing hypothesis testing, advanced hypothesis testing like ANOVA or chi-square test. Okay, these are advanced techniques which we learn in the black belt level. Now, if you stuck somewhere, who do you consult with? Do you consult with master black belt or do you consult with the top management person? Let's say CFO, Chief Finance Officer. For a chi-square test or ANOVA or hypothesis testing, do you go to a master black belt Lean Six Sigma or a CFO? Type in the chat box, everybody. Who do you consult? Simple master black belt. Let's say you want to have a automation to be done where there is some fund requirement of 10 crore rupees. Now, do you consult with the master black belt or do you go to CFO? In that case, you go to CFO. So you have to, in which phase, who do you consult with? That is called as consulted. Okay. And inform meaning, who do you have to inform? Do you have to inform the process people? Do you have to inform the top management? Do you have to inform maybe regulators? Okay. So all these are can be also defined as raciometric, responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. Okay, so every activity of the project can be divided. So this is one example, sample given. You can refer it later. Okay, now the last part of this is called as the communication plan. Okay, what is communication plan? During the project, how do you communicate with the people? What will be the frequency of communication? What will be the way of communication? Okay, all these things are called as communication plan. So this is just a sample communication plan which is given. For example, uh, first one is, let's say, estimating steering committee. Steering committee is a group of top management people who are going to review the entire progress of the project. Okay. So steering committee and CC meaning corporate coordinator. Just like in ISO, we have management representative, MR, right? Similarly, here we have a corporate coordinator who is a pivotal role between the top management and the project teams. Okay. So uh, so steering committee and the corporate coordinator will communicate during TG review. TG meaning toll gate review. So in the Lean Six Sigma project, after every phase we have a toll gate review. So during toll gate reviews, this communication will happen. Okay. So then steering committee and the corporate coordinator can also have communication via email in between. Okay. So that means steering committee will communicate with CC on tollgate reviews. Corporate coordinator will communicate with steering committee with via email as well. So you can create a plan like this. What will be the communication way, frequency, who will communicate to whom, etc. And this is called as communication plan. The sample has been given to you. Clear? Just give me a. So see, this is all part of your define phase green belt. Yahan tak everybody with me? Just give me yes. Communication matrix. Yeah, this is a communication matrix only. Yes. This entire table is called communication matrix. Okay, very good. So we'll take a quick break of 10 minutes now. Okay. It is right now 8. What is the time exactly? Let me just check. It's 8:26. We will be back exactly by 8:36. Are you clear? Yes. So we'll be back 8:27 whether 37 में आएंगे 37 ठीक है. So we'll be back exactly at 8:37. Okay. So have your cup of coffee and then we will go to the next part of it. Okay. We'll start a little bit of major phase today. A little bit of statistics we'll cover today. Okay. Super. Chalo, enjoy. Bye-bye. Okay, once you are back on your seat, please type I am back in the chat so that we can start the session. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the confirmations from the people. I'm getting few confirmations. I'm waiting for the other people. Super. All right. Just let me start. All right. So we are now in the moving towards the next part of it, which is nothing but, just a second. Yeah, which is nothing but our measure phase. Okay. So in the measure phase, what we do is we collect the data related to the project, whatever we are doing, and then we extract information from the data with the help of statistics. Okay, which so today we will cover the part of the introduction of the statistics. Tomorrow we'll go for exercises on Minitab, etc. Okay, so today we'll cover the basic the fundamentals of statistics, etc. And tomorrow we'll do the practical aspects of it. Okay. So in the define phase, just type in the chat box which tools have we covered till now today. Type in the chat box quickly, because there is a very important rule which you should remember. That rule is called as 86-14 rule. Yeah, keep on typing, keep on typing. I'm just reading that. Okay, SciPoc, project charter, what else? What else? टाइप कीजिए, टाइप कीजिए. Cano model, RACI metrics, communication plan. Very good, very good. Project identification. Okay. Internal and external. Very good. Six Sigma vocabulary. Strategic forces. Super, super. Very nice. So we have covered a lot of ground. So we have covered more or less the define phase of it. Okay. So we have understood that master black belt is accountable to define, the project, to identify the project. Then we make a project charter, we make SciPoc, we make communication plan, we make RACI metrics, stakeholder analysis. All these things are the basic tools of the define phase. Okay. Once we do that, then we move to the measure phase. Um, you would have learned 80-20 Pareto principle, right? This is a rule called 86-14 rule. 86-14 rule says that whatever we learn, now this is very interesting, whatever we learn, whatever we read, understand, etc., during the day, 86% of it we forget on the same day. That's very interesting, isn't it? Okay, 86% of it is lost, is completely forgotten on the same day. Understand this? Okay. So, just to recover this, that's why we have to revise again and again. So, revision is the way out of it. Okay. So, somebody was asking, right, is it mandatory to take the notes? Is it mandatory to have the notes during examination? It is not mandatory, but it is recommended very heavily, because um, as you write on the piece of paper, I still carry my notes. Huh? Even after 20 years in this field, I still have my old notes, still, refer my notes, still, use my notes, etc. Okay. So 86-14 rule, remember this. Now, coming back to measure phase. Now, in measure phase, we collect the data. The reason being, you can't manage what you don't measure. Very interesting. If you want to improve anything, start measuring it. If you do not measure it, you cannot improve it. It's very, very important thing. Okay. You cannot improve whatever you cannot measure. I'll give you example which you can easily understand. If how many of you, to be very honest with you, how many of you um, struggle with your monthly finances? You don't know, okay, where the money is going. How many of you experience this? Just give me yes in the chat box or me in the chat box. ओके, सैलरी क्रेडिट हो जाती है बट 15 दिन में वो उसका क्या होता है मुझे पता ही नहीं चलता. वी डोंट नो वेयर इट इज गोइंग. Yes, lot of you are saying me, yes, yes. Why? Because of poor measurement system. We don't know where it is going. We don't have the measurements. We don't have the control. We cannot manage it. Why? Because of lack of measurement system. Very, very simple. Okay. So the rule of improvement is whatever you want to measure, whatever you want to improve, start measuring it first. You want to reduce your cholesterol level? Start measuring your cholesterol level. You want to reduce your weight? Start measuring your weight regularly. You want to improve your time management? Start tracking your time. You want to have control on your expenses? Start tracking your expenses. Very, very simple, but very powerful. Start measuring whatever you want to improve. Very simple. Okay. Now, when it comes to measure, there are three types of measures. Input, process, output. Like SIPOC, we have seen input, process, output. So we have input measure, process measure, and output measure. So in measure phase, what we collect is all input, process, and output measures. Understand this, okay? So let's take example of the cup of tea only, okay? So in the cup of tea, we have input में क्या क्या होगा? Milk, tea powder, sugar, etc. Right? So input measure is quantity and quality of water, quantity and quality of milk, quantity and quality of tea powder, quantity and quality of sugar. Anything changes will have an impact on the test. Understand this? Okay. Then what are the process measures? Temperature, time to boil, how much time we are boiling to brew. Okay. And stirring, how much stirring we are doing. Then what will be the output measure? Output measure will be test or the turnaround time for the delivery. Okay. So these are called input, process, and the output. Let's do a small exercise here. For your process, give me one input measure. Now understand this. Measure has to be measurable. All these are measurables. You should be able to measure it or count it. Understand this, okay? So give me one example of input measure, one example of process measure, and one example of output measure. Clear? Just in the chat box, quickly. Everybody, just do the exercise, just type in the chat box, quickly. Super. So, we have quality production per hour turnaround time. Okay. Requesting data, what is that? Authorizing or getting approval. Okay. Ticket handling is the input. Amount of inventory and production per hour and quality turnaround time. Very good. Very good. How much sugar, how much tea sold, and how much is the profit. Okay. Um, input milk, sevaya, and chai, and then process, mix, and refrigerate, and output is a faluda. Very nice. Super. So, बहुत सारे it seems to be a chef in the room today. Okay, so you got it. So, in the measure phase, what we do is we actually collect the data of input, process, and the output measure. Clear? Okay, part-time passion. Okay, that's interesting. Very good, very good. Super. Yes, everybody clear? So in the measure phase, we collect the data. Now, when we collect the data, there are two types of data we'll find. One is called continuous data, other is called discrete data. Okay. What is continuous data? Continuous data is nothing but which can be measured. Understand this. The data which can be measured. Example, length, height, weight, temperature, pressure, speed. All these are called continuous data, which can be measured on a continuous scale. Like for example, 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.9, 10, 11, 11.1, 11.2, 11.3. So on a continuous scale, we can measure it. Centimeter, meter, kilogram, degree centigrade. Okay. Pressure, temperature, height, length, width, all these things, right? So these are called continuous data. On the other side, there is something called discrete data which can be counted. For example, number of people in the room. It's called discrete data and not measure. We never say that go and measure the number of people. We always say that go and count the number of people. We never say go and count the weight. We always say go and measure the weight. Understand this? Okay. So whenever it is counting, it is called discrete data. For example, male, female, how many people, accept, reject, pass, fail. These are called discrete data. Are you clear? Let me give you an example here. Let's say I have, I'm a quality inspector of in a chocolate company. Okay. So my role is, example I'm giving, I have to check the weight of the chocolate. If it is less than 10 grams, I have to reject it. Okay. So here, accept or reject. Okay. A is for accept, R for reject. So the first chocolate I take, the weight is 9.9 and I reject it. Okay. Second chocolate is 10.1. I accept it. Again, 10.0, I accept it. 10.2, I accept it. 9.8, I reject it. Now, this is called continuous data and this is called discrete data. Are you clear? Everybody just type yes in the chat box. The same data, how are you expressing that data? On a continuous scale are you expressing or are you expressing on a discrete type? This is called as continuous and discrete. Clear hai? Just give me yes in the chat box, everybody. Any doubt in continuous and discrete? No doubt, right? Yeah, which data is more preferred? Which data is more preferred, continuous or discrete? कौन सा डेटा हमें ज्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन देता है? Is it discrete data or just type C or and D in the chat box? Which data gives us more information? Think about it. Few people are saying C, few people are saying D, few people are saying both. Okay. Yeah. Always remember this. Continuous data gives us more information because, example, let's take example of it. Let's say in this case, if I take 100 chocolates, okay, out of which 90 chocolate accepted and 10 chocolate rejected. I'm just giving you very example. So 10% rejection rate. And on the continuous data, I have got 100 weights. Understand this. Now I can find out the trend of the chocolate weights. I can do a histogram of it. I can do a bell-shaped distribution curve of it. I can make a control chart of which we are going to do tomorrow on Minitab. Understand this? What I'll do with these discrete data 90 and 10? Okay. So I will only can say that 10% rejection. That's it. But here I can see the trend, why the process is going up and down. I can identify, I can question, I can investigate, I can do a lot of things. So the continuous data always gives us more information. So whenever there is an option between continuous and discrete, always and always go for continuous data. Okay, for a simple example, for your child, the teacher tells you your child is passed or failed. It is called discrete data. Would you be interested in percentage? How much marks he or she has scored? It's continuous data. The subject wise marks. Would you be interested in that? Yes. So continuous, yeah, see, both are measurements only. When we collect the data, it is called type of data. You can find sometimes continuous data, sometimes discrete data. Okay. Now in the chat, can you give me one example of continuous data in your case and one example of discrete data in your case? Type in the chat box quickly. Let's connect with your own process so that your understanding will become clear. Yes? Yeah, give me one example. Just type C and write one example. Just type D for discrete and write one example. Yeah, go ahead. So that so that you're applying this knowledge in your own process just to take your knowledge to the next level. Huh. NPS, okay. Okay. Go no go is discrete. Bore diameter is continuous. Very good. X hours of production. Number of time. Number of time in shift. Or how many shifts? 3 shifts. So 3 shifts is a discrete data. 1, 2, 3. AR collection amount. Okay. Accuracy. Right or wrong is a discrete data. Very good. Production quality continuous data. Shift and runtime. Okay. So good. So I think you've got some kind of idea, right? So whenever you have continuous data can give us more information. And discrete data can give us information, but we can collect some more data for that. Okay. Clear, everybody? Continuous discrete is clear. Just give me yes in the chat box. So what data is available with you? It can be of two type. Continuous is preferred. That's what we are saying. Okay. Discrete से भी हम लोग काम चला सकते हैं, but continuous is always preferred. Okay. Very good. It's not why discrete is subjective. The point is subjective is called discrete. Understand this? Subject is also called as discrete. Clear? Whenever there is a subjectivity, it is also called as discrete data. Yeah. Good or bad, it's a discrete data. Yeah, give example, give very specific example to ask the question that in my process, this is the data. Is it continuous or discrete? Number of something. See, understand this. What is continuous? Continuous data meaning the data which can be measured on the continuous scale. Ask the question, are we measuring or are we counting? Very simple. Wherever there is a confusion, ask the question, are we measuring this data or are we counting this data? Whenever we are counting, it's a discrete data. See, discrete में बहुत सारे forms है. Discrete में भी numbers आते हैं. ऐसा नहीं discrete में numbers नहीं आते हैं. Discrete में भी बहुत सारे number of days. Number of days is not a continuous data. It's a discrete data. Okay, how many number of people? Number of people is even number of people is a number. But since still it's a whole number. It's not on the country. You'll never say today there are 10.2 people in the room. Either it will be 10 or either it will be 11. Right? So there is no fraction. Decimal सिर्फ continuous में आएंगे. डिस्क्रीट में नहीं आएंगे। हाँ, डिससेटिस्फैक्शन स्कोर, एवरेज रेटिंग रिस्पॉन्स। ओके, सीएक्स क्या है? व्हाट इज सीएक्स? 50 grams, 50 grams of lazy is continuous. Very good. So grams because it's a weight. So net weight, gross weight is a continuous data. And number of pouches on the shelf is a discrete data because you can count them. 10 pouches, 20 pouches. Okay. CX is customer. Yes. Customer dissatisfaction, rating. So both can be same. No? Both can be same. So dissatisfaction is if you are taking the rating part of it. So both can be measured similarly. Yes, very good, very good. Production number, let's say if you're measuring in tons or kg, it's a continuous data. And if you have defect percentage or defect, let's say how many pieces are rejected in that today's production, number of pieces you're counting, it's a discrete data. See, percentage, now understand this, percentage is most of the cases is considered to be continuous data because percentage we can show in the decimal numbers. So whenever you have percentage, you can easily consider it as a continuous data. Even rating, for example, you are taking average rating, no, 5.2 average rating, 5.3, 5.4. You can consider this as a continuous data as well because it can be expressed in a decimal formats as well. Okay, clear? Continuous discrete clear hai? Just give me yes. Very good, very good, very good, very good. Super, super, super. Chalo, let's quickly today we will cover the basic fundamentals of statistics, okay? And what is standard deviation calculation, etc. So, and tomorrow we will deep dive into the Minitab, etc. All right. So this is my definition of statistics. Statistics is a science which converts data into information. Statistics is a science which converts data into information because, see, our mind is not wired to comprehend the data. If I show you a Excel sheet full of numbers, your mind will not be able to interpret it. Mind will not be able to comprehend it. Why? Because we are not wired to do that. But instead of the numbers, if I make a pie chart, if I make a Pareto out of it, if I make some graph, a trend chart, then your mind will easily identify it. So if we convert that graphically or statistically into some, analysis, then we get some information. Oh, the trend is going up, or the trend is the market, share market example. Okay, today the share market is going up. Okay, today the share market is going down. Okay, the price of the share is stable today. There is only horizontal movement today. There is no vertical movements. Okay, so this is called information. So once we investigate the information, for example, when the share market crashes, there is some kind of reason behind it. There is a war going on, or there is a government change, government collapse. Okay, so these kinds of sentiments are there in the market. It can impact on the stock market collapse. So the trend is information. That information is investigated. We'll find out the causes and the root causes, and that can provide us the wisdom. So statistics is a science of collecting, analyzing, interpreting the data, which ultimately can give us the wisdom. So in a simple terms, the science that converts data into information, which ultimately gives us more wisdom, more power to take better decisions in our business. It's called statistics. Okay. Now there are two types of statistics. One is called descriptive, and another is called inferential. Descriptive statistic and inferential statistic. Okay, so today we are going to cover descriptive. Inferential will cover tomorrow. Okay. Descriptive meaning example. Well, I'll take very simple example. Everybody see cricket match, right? In a cricket match, after 5 overs of, let's say there is a T20 match going on. Okay. After 5 overs, the score is 40 runs and 2 wickets. Example. Okay. So this is 5 over is a small sample taken out of the population of 20 overs. I hope everybody knows population and sample. Population meaning the entire data set, the whole data set, and the sample meaning the subset of it, right? For example, there are 10,000 students in SNG, and let's say today we have 50 people, 100 people sitting. These are the sample students. Are you understanding? So, descriptive statistics is all about the sample. So, in the same cricket match, we see a projected score as well. Yes or no? In the below, there is a projected score which always runs. Okay. Score. So for example, if this continues, they will score 160 runs. Or if they increase the run rate, they can reach up to 180 runs in 20 overs. This is called as inferential statistics. This is about the population, the entire data set. Sample is a subset and population is the entire data set. So descriptive is about the sample and inferential is about the population. Clear? Just give me yes in the chat box. With a simple example. Clear hai? When we go for a blood check, for example. So in our body, generally we have 5 to 6 liters of blood in the human body. All right. So the lab technician, that person, the pathologist, that person does not take all 6 liter blood out, right? Otherwise, the person would die. The patient would die. He or she takes only a small sample. It is called, so then that sample is analyzed and the report is created. WBC count, RBC count, all those stuff, so cholesterol levels and all those stuff, right? So that is called descriptive statistic. A study of a sample is called descriptive. Then the doctor from that sample study can actually check in the entire body how much is the infection, viral infection or some other infection is there and what disease is there. So that is the inferential statistics. Correct, exactly. So inferential is nothing but it is a kind of a predictive behavior of the population. Correct? Clear hai? Descriptive, inferential. Just give me yes in the chat box. यहाँ तक clear है? So tomorrow we will discuss about inferential, where hypothesis, regression, etc. Okay, tomorrow and day after we'll discuss about it. Today we'll talk about central tendency and dispersion more. Okay, now in the data set, you would have seen me drawing this diagram multiple times. Okay, what does it call as? What does this diagram call as? Everybody type in chat box. इसे क्या कहते हैं? I covered it in the yellow belt as well. Bell-shaped curve. And this comes out of histogram. Yes, everybody knows this. ये histogram से आता है. And I always give this example of the latest example is a COVID. COVID wave 1, COVID wave 2, COVID wave 3. What is that? It is nothing but this bell-shaped curve. Whenever we collect the data, or this is also called a normal distribution curve. Okay. So whenever we have a data, there are two characteristics of the data. One is called central tendency of the data. Other is called dispersion. This is called the center of the data. This one. And then this is called the dispersion. Dispersion meaning the spread. So where is the center line and where is the spread line? I'll give you a practical example. Imagine Indian cricket team has got two options in wicket-keeping batsman option. One is called Rishabh Pant and other is KL Rahul. Okay. So first they collect, let's say there is a one-day cricket tournament is there, and they have to select only one wicket-keeping batsman out of these two. So first they collect the average of both the batsmen. They collect last 30 data points, 30 matches of Pant and Rahul. So Pant has scored, let's say 40, Rahul has also scored 40. So both are equal. The center is exactly matching average. Okay. Then they calculate standard deviation, which is sigma. Okay. Rishabh Pant's standard deviation is 20 runs and KL Rahul's standard deviation is 5 runs, for example. All right. What does it mean? It means if I draw Rishabh Pant's distribution curve, it will look like this with the average X bar at 40. But if I draw KL Rahul's what you can say standard normal distribution curve, it will look like this, where it would be around 40, but the spread is very less. Can you see the difference between these two curves? Just type yes in the chat box, which is reflected in the standard deviation. Clear hai, everybody? Just give me yes in the chat box. So if I collect the data, okay, of 30 data points and put it in the histogram, it will give a bell-shaped curve like this. So Rishabh Pant having more standard deviation, having more spread, and Rahul having less standard deviation, having less spread. So Rahul is very consistent around 40. ऋषभ का एवरेज 40 है, but sometimes he makes 5 runs or 10 runs, sometimes he makes 60 or 70 runs. But Rahul is very consistent about 40, 35, 45, 40, 35, 45, very consistent around 40. So his standard deviation is very less. Rishabh Pant is very, the spread of the data is very high. So one is called central tendency, which is average, and the second one is called dispersion, which is called standard deviation. So for central tendency, along with average also called as mean, there are two other areas which are called mode and median, which we are going to learn. And in the dispersion, there is standard deviation, which I showed you here. Along with that, there is something called range and variance also, which we are going to learn. Okay. So one is central tendency, other is dispersion. Clear both these characters of the data? Just give me yes in the chat box quickly. Clear है? Super clear? Very good, very good, super. Chalo, so let's go one by one. Whatever we can cover today, we'll cover. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about the central tendency. The first one is mean. Mean is simple average. That's it. Okay. Nothing to explain here. So we collect the data and take the average. It is called a mean. Simple. Okay. Let's talk about the second one, which is called mode. Mode is the highest frequently occurring value. Highest frequently occurring value. For example, let's look at these numbers. Which value is frequently occurring in this? Type in the chat box quickly. Observe these values very, very slowly. Which value is frequently occurring here? 75. Can you see here? 75 is occurring 1, 2, and 3 times. So maximum time it is coming. That's why it is called the mode. Clear? Let's say I have got 80. After 65, let's say I have got 80. Now I have got 81, 80 here and 80 here. So 80 also 3 times. So I have got 75 3 times and 80 3 times. Then what is the mode here? What would be the mode in this case? Average of 75 and 80? No, it is not like average. We have to take both the modes and it is called as bimodal distribution. And it is also called as a camelback distribution. It looks like this. So this is 75 and this is 80. See, when you say this is the highest value, now highest frequently occurring value. So this is the mode. In the normal distribution, the mean, mode, and the median are in the center. They may not be exactly equal, but very close to each other and in the center. Okay, so this is called the mode. So this kind of distribution is called bimodal distribution. What if we have all the data points occurring two times? 75 two times, 62 times, 65 two times, 82 times, 92 times. What will be the distribution? What will be the mode in that case? So if I have to draw this distribution, it would look like this. Okay, let's say everything is happening, everything is occurring two times. So this will be, so this distribution is called as uniform distribution. This is not normal distribution, and there is no mode. Uniform distribution does not have any mode. Clear, everybody? Mode is clear. So mode is maximum frequently occurring value. All right. In the normal distribution, there is always only one mode. Okay. When you have two modes, it is called bimodal distribution. And if you have all the data points occurring only once or twice or thrice, it's called a uniform distribution. It does not have any mode. Are you clear with this mode? Just type yes in the chat box. Mode clear hai? Super clear? Very good, very good. Let's talk about median. What is median? Median is if you arrange the data set in ascending or descending order, whatever, let's say this is the data set, I arrange the data set in the ascending order. What is the central value? It's called the median. So in this case, 19 is the median. Let's say, so let's say there are 7 data points. Okay, so the data points are odd in number. Whenever you have odd data points, you have one central value. Okay, what if you have even number? Let's say I have 48. Okay, so 12, 15, 17. So in case of even number, I've got two values in the center. In this case, we will take the average of these two. Okay, so when I have 8 values, I have got two values in the center, 19 and 25. So in that case, the 22 will be the average of these two, and this will be the median. Clear? Everybody clear about median? Just give me a yes in the chat box. So median is a central value when you are arranging the data set in ascending or descending value order. Okay? When you have even numbers, you have the you have two values, तो उसका average लेना है. If you have odd numbers, you have only one value, the center. Okay. Now, how many of you have heard about percentiles? Where have you heard about percentiles? Type in the chat box. कहाँ पे सुना है percentile? Where have you heard about it? हाँ, gate result and JEE ranking. Very good. Common entrance exams. Yes, exam results. Exam results. But what is percentile? What is percentile? If I have to explain to a 10-year-old student, percentile क्या है? How do you explain it? See, percentage is different. Percentile is different, right? Percentage is simple. Out of 100, how much? Simple. That is called percentage. What is percentile? Percentile is different than this. So how to explain it to a 10-year-old student? Let's say, for example, if I have a horizontal cake like this, imagine, okay, a big bread-like cake I have, and I have 100 people in the room, okay, and I have a knife. I have to cut this cake. How many cuts I have to make to cut into exact 100 equal pieces? Type in chat box. How many cuts I have to make? Very good. So 99 cuts I have to make, right? So every cut, imagine this, it's set of data set. This cake is nothing but a data set arranged in an ascending order. Okay. So every cut I am making is nothing but a percentile. If I have to divide it to 100 equal parts. Okay. Now the same logic, can we apply the same logic to something called quartile? Quartile meaning 4. Quarter meaning, 4, no? 1 by 4. So what if the same cake I have to divide into 4 pieces? How many cuts do I have to make? कितने cuts लगाने पड़ेंगे? Type in the chat box. 1, 2, and 3. If I make 3 cuts, I will make 4 equal pieces, no? Correct? Yes, everybody with me? So मैं थोड़ा यहाँ पे निकलता हूँ. Okay. Now, so 1, 2, 3 cuts. Now, can we say this? So every cut is called as quartile. So this is first quartile, this is second quartile, and this is third quartile. Can we say, now this, listen to me very carefully, this is very interesting. Can we say first quartile as a 25th percentile on the percentile scale? Can we say that? Yes. Can we say second quartile as 50th percentile? Can we say that? Can we say third quartile as 75th percentile on a percentile scale? Yes. Can we say second quartile, which is 50th percentile, can we call it as a median? Can we call it as median? Because it's a central value. Clear, everybody? First quartile, which is also called as 25th percentile. Second quartile, which is also called as 50th percentile. Third quartile, which is also called as 70th percentile. Now, on this scale, on this data set, can we call this as the first quartile? Can we call this as the second quartile? Can we call this as the third quartile? And this is being median. Just give me yes if you have understood this. And we are going to use this tomorrow when we are going to learn about something called box plot. उसमें ये हमें समझ में आएगा. Clear है? Basic funda clear? See, we don't have to calculate it manually. We have software like super Zabardast software like Minitab with us. So we don't have to worry about it. But funda should be clear. Okay? Clear? Very good. So mean, mode, median clear hai. Quartile, percentile clear. Let's move to the spread, which is the dispersion. So these are called 3 central tendency measures. Mean, mode, median. Okay? Let's move to the dispersion, which is a spread. How do we measure the spread? The basic measurement of the spread is called, the first one is called range. Highest minus lowest. Let's say if we take the height of the people, let's say for example, can you type your height in centimeter in the chat quickly? Can you just type your height in the centimeter right now? What is your current height in centimeter? Quickly type in the chat box. Let me take the highest and the lowest value right now. Okay, so 172, 159, 170. टाइप इन चैट बॉक्स. हाइट अपना डाल दो चैट बॉक्स में सेंटीमीटर में. 150. ओके. 164, 174. Very good. So let's say I have got 150. Let's say shortest person is, let's say 150 and the tallest person is 180. What is the range? So range is 30 centimeter is the range. So highest minus lowest. Clear? So the tallest person is 180 and the shortest person is 150. The range is highest minus lowest is 30 centimeter. This is the very basic level of defining the spread of the data set. Okay. Now let's talk about variance and standard deviation, which is most important part. Okay. So today we will learn variance and standard deviation and then we'll close the day. Okay. This is the most important. Just try to understand. I have decoded how you can calculate standard deviation, how this formula of standard deviation is derived. If you understand this, you have understood Six Sigma by 50%. Okay, so let's talk about it. The first step of calculating standard deviation and variance is, first one is collect the data. Okay, step number one is always collect the data. So imagine they have collected the data like, these are six data points I have taken, 10, 12, 15. Okay, and I have arranged in ascending order. Then take the average. So average seems to be 15 here. Okay, that's a step number two. Step number three is, because we are calculating standard deviation. What is deviation? Deviation meaning what is the distance from the central value. In this case, the central value is the average. So what is the deviation? What is the distance of each and every data point from the mean? That is called the deviation. Now let's calculate the deviation. Now, this is very most important part. Huh? So step number three is calculating the deviation. So what is the deviation from between 10 and 15? 15 is the average here. X bar is 15. Okay. 15 is a value as well as 15 is the average. Okay. So what is the distance between 10 and 15? The distance is -5. So let me write here. So distance is -5. What is the distance between 12 and the average 15? Is -3. What is the distance between 15 and 15? Which is 0. What is the distance of 18 and 15? Which is +3. What is the distance between 20 and 15? Which is +5. So total deviation is -5, -3, 0, 3, and 5, which is deviation from the mean. Are you clear? Step number 3 is clear. We have just calculated a distance from each and every value from the mean. Just give me yes in the chat box. Step number 3 is clear. Simple distance we have calculated. Why it is negative? Because it is less than the actual number. It is lesser than. So 10 minus 15 is -5. That's why it is taken -1. Now, can you take the average of this? Can you take the average of -5 plus -3 plus 0 plus 3 plus 5 divided by 5? Can you just take the average and tell me the average? Tell me the average, everybody. Just calculate the average and tell me the average. Yeah, first, I'm just waiting for everybody to calculate. There are people answering the question, but I want everybody to give me the answer, because this clarity is very, very important. If you understand the logic behind it, then you have understood everything. Nobody will teach you how to derive the formula of standard deviation. This is the way you can derive the formula of standard deviation. Yeah, what is it? It's very simple, na? -5, -3, -5 plus -3, -8, plus 0, again -8, plus 3 become -5, plus 5 becomes 0. So 0 divided by 5. What is 0 divided by 5? 0 divided by 5 कितना होता है? How much is 0 divided by 5? 0. Yes, it's 0. Now, the average distance is coming 0. Does it mean we don't have any deviation? Does it mean we don't have any deviation? Zero. See, when do we have zero deviation? Try to understand this. If all the values would be 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, then that would be a zero deviation. But we have the deviation at 10, 12, 18, 20. So there is a deviation. Correct. So we have the deviation, but the average deviation is coming 0 because minus and plus are clashing with each other and they are not giving us the right answer. So, exactly. So what these statisticians have done, they have squared the value of this. So they have squared the value. Why? Because the squared value is always a positive value. See the logic behind it. Okay. So instead of -5, they have taken -5 ka square, which is 25. So -5 ka square is also 25, plus 5 ka square is also 25. It's always a positive value. Squared value is always a positive value, right? So can we just take the squared deviation? So -5 का square is 25, minus 3 square is 9, 0 square is 0, 3 square is 9, and 5 square is 25. Yes? Now can you take the average of it? Because all the values are positive now. Can you just add 25 plus 9 plus 9, 0 plus 9 plus 25 divided by 5? Can you just do the averaging of it? Which is step number 5. And tell me the answer in the chat. Yeah, do the exact one. Do the एक बार आप लैपटॉप में कैलकुलेटर में कर लो. एक बार कर लो बस. You never have to do it in your life again. But एक बार आपके क्लैरिटी के लिए कर लो. 25 plus 9 plus 0 plus 9 plus 25 divided by 5. Which is 13.6. Everybody got the same answer? 13.6. Yes? And this is called as variance. What is that? Variance, or some people call it as variance as well. And which is denoted by sigma square. Sigma square, which is called as variance or variance. Okay. And because we have taken the squared value, we have to take the square root of it. Can you just take a square root of 13.6? Can you take the square root of 13.6? And this is our standard deviation, which is sigma. What is that value? Type in the chat box. Tell me the value. I'm not calculating. I want you guys to calculate it. 3 point something will come, I think. 3.68. Everybody got the same answer? And this is called as standard deviation. Everybody got the same answer? Just give me yes in the chat box. Super. Got it? Very good. Very good. Super. Now, how do you interpret this? What is the meaning of 3.68? What is this meaning? See, for a layman's language, very simple. Let me decode this very simple. Okay. Basic speed. It's the average deviation from the mean. What is standard deviation? Average deviation from the mean. It's the average distance of each and every data point from the mean. Just a simple understanding of this. Okay. So more the spread of the data, more will be the standard deviation. Lesser the spread of the data, lesser will be the standard deviation. Okay. If all the values will be 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, standard deviation will be 0. Clear, everybody? Just type yes in the chat box. Clear hai? How do you read this standard deviation? What is the measure of standard? What is the unit of measurement of standard deviation? What is the unit of measurement of standard deviation? Type in chat box. No, it is not percentage. No, it's not sigma. Yeah, what is the unit of measurement? Z, no. Z is for the process capability, not for the standard deviation, which we are going to learn tomorrow. Okay. Z calculation kaise karna hai? Standard deviation, understand this. Standard deviation has the same unit of measurement which you have for the data set. If the data set is in centimeter, standard deviation will be in centimeter. What is the definition? Average deviation from the mean, na? So if the data set is in kilogram, the standard deviation will be in kilogram. If data set is in kilometer, standard deviation will be in kilometer. Clear? So the same unit of measurement what we have for the data set. Clear, everybody? Just type yes in the chat box. Clear hai? So this is how the standard deviation is calculated. Okay. I'll just write down the formula of standard deviation just for your understanding. Okay. Next इसमें slide में लिखता हूं. If you have, yeah, ये slide एक बार देख लीजिए. So what is the formula of standard deviation? The standard deviation formula is this: summation of xi minus x bar square divided by n, where xi is individual data point. Okay. X bar is mean, which is the average, and n is the number of data points. And what I have explained you is the process to actually, form this equation. What is the basis of forming this equation? Clear? एक बार ये लिख लो. Okay. Now look at this. Look at these three diagrams. Okay. The first diagram, n is equal to number of data points. 23 data points are there. X bar is 5. You can see here, X bar is averaging 5. And S is small standard deviation of the sample, which is 1.75. Okay. See the spread. This is the highest spread. Okay. See the second option. Same data point. Now they have reduced the variation. Same data point. The average is exactly the same. The center is exactly same at 5. But see the standard deviation getting reduced. So lesser the spread, lesser is the standard deviation. And see the third option, the same number of data points, the same average at 5, where the standard deviation is at 0.85, and look at the spread of the data. So if your specification limits are here, whatever is going outside of this is a defect. And that's what you have to bring the process in the center so that your defects are reduced. And this is the entire Six Sigma DMAC principle. This is what we do. We reduce the variation to reduce the defect. That's it. Clear? Everybody? Understood? Just give me yes in the chat box. You like the way the interaction and this session is going on? Just give me yes or no in the chat box. No, sir, this is so much boring. Not understood anything. Whatever is the. Okay, wow, amazing, superb explanation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, super. So what we'll do, we'll stop here. I know that today was a working day for you and for me as well. Okay, so we'll stop today. We'll connect again tomorrow, 7 p.m. sharp. The recording will be available not in Masterclass Archive, but in Green Belt Hackathon folder in your LMS Learning Management System. Okay, Green Belt Hackathon folder is there. There you will understand it. Okay, enjoying the school days. I'm your professor. Huh? Good. Very good. Okay, so we'll connect again tomorrow exactly at 7 p.m. And if possible, connect with the laptop and Minitab, because tomorrow we'll do some Minitab exercises. Okay. Yes. Any kind of doubt you have this number 248. Okay. So any kind of doubt, this is the mentor's number. उस पे आप message करिए and we will be there to support you. Okay. ठीक है. Exam will be on the day 3. If you are ready with all the content, पूरा content आपका अगर हो चुका है, अपने course का content देखा है, and if you are gone through this hackathon folder, you can go for the examination. Okay, if you're ready, you can give the examination on day 3. All right. Super. I'll explain you the exam procedure, examination duration, all the rules regulation on the day 3. All right. Chalo, thank you very much for joining in. Keep learning, keep growing. This is Diresh Patil signing off. Bye bye. Take care. Good night.